Hello, this is realestate360show.com, and Steve Conley here, hashtag unemployable, and
this is Mr. Jason O. Myles, hashtag the real estate trainer, and I'm adding a new hashtag today, Steve.
Really? What is that?
Hashtag add a zero.
Oh, that's been your hashtag for as long as I can remember.
I believe in it. I believe in it, Yeah, I believe in it. That's what we all want to do. We want to go from making $1,000 to $10,000. We want to go from 10,000 to 100,000, Keep on getting up there, man. Add a zero.
I love it. I love it.
Got to get to the billionaires club pretty quick.
And, these particular times that we're in, it's given us a lot of time for contemplation, I think.
A little bit.
As long as your wife or your girlfriend's not making your honeydew list, like a continuous, full-time job for you, like mine maybe does. Every now and then I have to just, leave.
Yeah. I feel your pain, man.
But this is really a fantastic time for, contemplation, creating new ideas. And we have one of those that we're going to talk about in this fantastic show that we're doing today. And looking forward to what's going to happen next. Since, hey, this show is on Sunday, right around the end of April. What is it? What's the date? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're all the same now.
We're getting ready to come out of the, shelter at home situation. And I'm seeing a lot of pent up people that are, jumping out on the highways, and they're just, people are frustrated. They want to get going and do something. So, anyhow, that is what I'm seeing happening. What is going on? What's your finger doing there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just moving the camera a little bit there.
It's all right. So what are we talking about today?
So, Steve, I got to tell you, man, we are sitting here and we've been threatening to start our marketing machine back up for a couple weeks now. And, we've had a couple conversations about how we want to unroll that, what that looks like in today's market. We talked a little bit about this whole, virtual wholesaling thing, and just to put it out there for everyone, just sidebar for a second. Virtual wholesaling is no different than actual wholesaling. You just don't go and look at the property, right? You're making all your decisions, all your transactions, all your communication, everything is done on the phone or online. That's it. So in our looking over our marketing funnels, if you will, we say, listen, how can we help other people? Because the constant that we hear all the time is, I can't find the deals. How do you find the deals? Where do you look? What are you doing? How do you get them? I mean, that's a constant.
Of course we do.
Right? There's a whole thing. Everybody wants to be first in line. So how do you do that? Well, you have to create a marketing system. You have to be able to be on the radio and be online and be on TV and in people's mailboxes. Ultimately, you want to be in the forefront of their mind when it's time for you to sell your home, when it's time for someone to sell their home. And since we've gotten quite good at that over the years, we say, okay, well, listen, let's take a little bit of the guessing work out of this for some folks and create something for them that will give them the opportunities that we seem to find quite regularly.
Yeah. And, and this is beyond going door to door, this is not so much what you would call grassroots marketing, where you're knocking on doors because you don't have the money. This is joining really the big boys and coming up with a small amount of money to be involved in something that generates huge returns, right?
Right, absolutely. I mean, I think that the time that goes into people setting up marketing, I mean, we know what we've done. We've refined, our search criteria. We've created funnels that we are going directly at the people we want. We've created funnels, the big wide funnel, where you just have this big gaping hole in the front of it, where we sift out. What is it? Sifting the chaff, right? Is that the right term?
Well,
you
works
know,
for me. I don't know.
we're letting people come into the marketing funnel, and we just keep the ones we need, but the others actually fall off. The people that don't want it don't call. The people that are kicking tires to see what they can get, sometimes we want to have those conversations. There's a lot of different opportunities there. So we're taking what we've done and what we do, and we're saying, listen, for X number of dollars a month, you don't have to worry about figuring out who you're going to market to or how you're going to market. Just pay us whatever it winds up being. I think we spoke somewhere around $1,800 or something like that a month.
Right.
Somewhere around that figure. You're going to get X number of leads a week or a month, as they come in. We'll have a system in place for you. So ultimately, you just get leads. You'll set up a calendar that you'll give us with blocks of time over the course of a week that you're available, and we'll have our appointment setters set appointments for you, and you know what to say. You go out, you negotiate your deals. We'll set up some stuff for you on the back end for deals that you can't do for yourself, in terms of teaching people how to not lose an opportunity, even if it's an opportunity they can't capitalize wholly on at that moment.
Right. And let's back up just a little bit and kind of lay the foundation of what we're talking about, which is essentially a co-op advertising program where you and I are going to put together, or we pretty much already have it, really,
That's all right.
a marketing, system that includes television, social media, perhaps some direct mail, some flyers, pretty much everything in what we used to call a marketing mix.
Yeah.
Because it's really important to hit people from different angles and to create the same message that is seen over and over again in different venues. Of course, that's going to be in today's world, YouTube, perhaps television. Where is everybody right now?
Right now, everybody is scrolling on their mobile devices,
Yeah.
in Instagram and Facebook. To be honest with you,
Instagram,
and,
Facebook,
and YouTube.
YouTube,
Yeah, that's
and they're
where everybody's
watching
at.
television.
They're watching Netflix. They're watching whatever
Netflix.
streaming service they have. And how do you get onto those? You don't really get on those, but they're also playing games on their phone. Do you play games on your phone at all, Steve?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, everyone else does, right?
I don't.
And you'll notice that, between games, like you're playing a single game, and then when you win or lose that and you start the next one, in between there, they make you watch commercials,
Right.
right? And it's the same kind of YouTube commercial kind of thing, and you're just blasting people through those medias. I mean, if you're hitting them from everywhere, which is what we do, if you're hitting prospective sellers from every angle, you're kind of normal. You're the go-to person, if you will. It's when
Exactly.
you think of. I mean, it's marketing, it's branding, it's all of that. It's, do we use Kleenex or tissue,
Mm.
right? Are we using cotton swabs or Q-tips?
Now, we know for us, we're not really guessing, if you know
Right.
what I mean, because we've done this. I did a little marketing campaign very similar to this. This was really on broadcast television because it was really before the internet was this strong as it is right now, and certainly much more easy to utilize today than it was when I did it. And so I learned a lot from that marketing campaign. My phone, oh my gosh, what happened was, I ran these television ads on broadcast media. Now it's a little bit more precise these days because of the TiVos and people can scoot through the marketing and the commercials pretty quick. So you have to get really, pretty smart at how you market these things.
Sorry, Steve, I got to tell you, they don't use TiVo very often.
Oh, they don't.
Well, no, they build them into the cable
It's
boxes.
DVRs.
That's exactly right.
I have a DVR. Sorry, I just got back to an old term. My fault.
That's okay. You can fax me your apology later.
Yeah, do that. Okay. You can do that. Anyhow, but here's what I did was I just ran it and I said, okay, I'm just going to handle the phone calls as they come in myself with the team that I had in my office, which was, 3 or 4 people. And that was a huge mistake because the phone rang off the hook. Oh my gosh, and I learned, basically what I'm saying is now we have, since then, I put in a system for a company to come in and answer the calls. And that way, they can handle 5 or 10 lines coming in at a time, because when the ad hits or the marketing hits, you need 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 people answering the phone all at the same time.
Because we simply just don't have the time to do it.
Well, there's no way to do all. Yeah, exactly. I don't have the bandwidth for that. Our bandwidth is understanding how to do the marketing, what to say, how to say it, create the scripts for when people call in, what questions to have answered and ask, and putting those systems in place, right?
Well, Steve, let's talk a little bit more about those systems after the break.
Okay.
All right.
We'll Buy Your House. Click 833willbuy.com. That's 833WELLBUY.com.
Or call 833-WILL-BUY.
Se habla español. Llámanos. Call us today.
Hey, we are back. And Jason Myles, you have something to say.
Hey, listen, everybody out there watching and listening to us right now. I want to take an opportunity to thank you so very much for listening to us here and now and on our podcast, which is the Real Estate 360 podcast, or the YouTube channel, Real Estate 360, or on our website, realestate360show.com. Now, if you haven't gone on and subscribed to our podcast or the channel or anything, make sure you do that. And engage with us. Continue to engage with us. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you want to hear. If we haven't elaborated on something, if you just have a couple questions, reach out to us. Talk to us. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. And, on the website is a link for our phone number. And so if you want some more information on this co-op marketing plan, you'd like to be involved, we absolutely have to limit it to a certain number of people. We don't actually have that number.
Well, it's going to be somewhere between 15 and 20.
Exactly.
And that's it. And it's not this isn't a gimmick, guys. It's a matter of bandwidth. It's a matter of understanding, where we want to market, who wants to target these areas or be investing in these areas. We're talking about just one geographic area. This isn't a get rich quick scheme for us. This is a way for us to broaden, cast a wider net, if you will, and be able to share some of the things that we do with others. Because the reality of it is there are more deals out there than any of us individually can handle. Okay?
No question about it.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of them too, Steve. It's not just one kind of deal.
I was looking at that and I wanted to put in there in our commercial that, oh, by the way, we buy houses, businesses, excess inventory, locomotives, cars, trains, and planes. But, that was too much. And, but now in addition to investors, that's what the base of our marketing program is about, is real estate investors who have maybe in the past gone out and purchased from other wholesalers. And you know what? There are people in the middle that are making $2, $3, $5, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 in the middle as a wholesaler. Yeah. So we're talking less than $2,000 to be involved in this. And we promise you, if you understand how to evaluate these properties and understand what a real opportunity looks like in terms of purchasing these, this is going to cost you nothing to be
That's
involved.
correct. I mean, that's correct. So for us, for you and I, Steve, our average wholesale deal is about $6,700 average.
Yeah.
And yes, there are some that we've made $1,800 on. There's some that we've actually lost money on. There's some that we made $20,000 on.
Yeah.
On the average, we're at $6,700. So
hey, there was a commercial deal that we made $150,000 on.
That's correct. That's a very exceptional opportunity right there.
Yes, sir.
But the most important thing here to know is that you're going to market one way or another. And for those that don't market, don't live. Okay. You have no business if you're not marketing, period, point blank. You're going to market in one way or another, whether you do it with a collective group of people or you do it on your own. It's totally up to you. We are just wanting to help people in our particular area that are looking for the help. Some might say, well, you're cutting yourself out. Why don't you just do it for yourself? Well, we do it for ourselves as well. Again, there are a lot of real estate transactions that occur on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. We're not going to be able to do them all. If we're doing 30 or 40 or 50 deals a month collectively,
mm-hmm.
That's not even a drop in the bucket in terms of how many closings are done in just the metropolitan area, Atlanta metropolitan area on a monthly basis. It's nothing. It's nothing.
And the more, the better. And what I have learned over the decades of being in business, back in the 80s when I had a couple of furniture stores, I found out that if I spent $10,000 a month in marketing, then that was pretty much the threshold right there. And every time I spent $10,000, the company would make money.
Yeah.
The more I spent, the more we actually made down on the bottom line.
Yeah.
If I spent $5,000 a month marketing, then generally we would lose money. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely.
It does make sense. And that's when $10,000, back in the 80s was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Really. And, but really the same holds true right now. If you spend $10,000 a month in marketing, then, we're going to make money. And that's what we're going to do, whether other people are involved or not. It doesn't matter.
That's right. I mean, the simple fact of the matter is you got to put it out there to bring it back in, right? You can't go fishing with just a hook. It doesn't work. You got to put a worm on the hook. So if you've got an opportunity to put $1,000 out there and get 2,000 back, are you going to do it?
Sure. Yeah, hey, you know what? The guys over at Coca-Cola, they're just said that brand is the most valuable brand on the planet.
Yeah.
And you know what the marketing guy says over there? So a while back, somebody says, well, why don't you just save all of that money for a month and put it on the bottom line? Obviously that guy's a bean counter and a corporate bean counter probably. And so the marketing guy said, you know what? If we stopped marketing and, we just did what you just said, in 2 months, Pepsi would be number one.
Yeah.
And of course, the other thing about that is they also say that we know that we waste 50% of the money that we spend. We just don't know what 50% it is.
Yeah.
Of course, they do know on the back end, but going in, they don't really know. And it doesn't matter anymore because at some point, even that 50% that they think that they're wasting is not. It's still an impression that is out there. And maybe it hasn't returned immediately what's going on in terms of the cash flow, but it will. There's an impression.
So what my takeaway from that is it's all about what's the word I want to use? Being recognized in the market. That's my takeaway, right?
Brand building and
absolutely.
Yes.
So when you're looking at when you get a letter in the mail or an advertisement in the mail for a furniture company, what distinguishes ABC Furniture from Rooms to Go?
Yeah, right.
The distinguishing factor isn't the furniture they sell; it's their marketing.
Well, it might be the furniture because I was in the furniture business, and so
Well, I
there
mean,
is a difference.
well, yeah, it could be, but there's a lot of great furniture stores out there. There's a
There
lot of
are.
fantastic furniture stores out there, and most of the furniture comes from the same place in the country anyway, right?
Yeah. Well, China now.
Well, yeah, well, there is that. But the distinguishing factor for them is the marketing. It's the name recognition, the marketing. Who are you in the market? If you're sending out a mass mailer, for instance, under my name is Joe and I want to buy your house, it's a lot different than getting a will buy a letter in the mail or a will buy flyer in the mail or at your grocery store or at your dry cleaner or seeing a will buy commercial or hearing a will buy ad on the radio or seeing the will buy moniker on social media. It's recognition. It's recognition. These guys are here. Why am I calling them? I have a house to sell and I see them everywhere. They must be good because they're here. They've been here. Who's Joe? I have no idea. But will buy sounds like some people we want to talk to because Joe just sent me a letter that said he's buying houses in the area. But will buy has been here for months and months and months and years now. I see their signs when I'm driving down the street.
Yeah.
It's
exactly
a brand. It's a brand. And it's a recognizable brand. So people that do business with us now consider themselves franchisees. They're like a franchise. They spend a little money towards the marketing budget and they see a substantial return.
And we have a lot of money invested in this, a lot of money and time and experience, a ton of experience. So over the years, we've developed the brand, we've developed the TV commercial that we can use. It's professionally done. The folks over at Fox 5 shot this commercial for us. And so we have the 15, we have the 30, we have the 60-second. We can take that and put it on YouTube. We can put it on Facebook.
Well, we do all of that. But again, the most important thing here is it's not just the production and the quality of production. You want that, right? That works. The most important thing is we know who to market to. We know what to say to those people, to those companies, because even that, when you listen to other educators, if you will, talk, they'll tell you, hey, don't market to the businesses. Take all those out. We don't see a lot of success with those businesses in there. The reality of that, Steve, is you and I know that when you go get a hard money loan, that's technically a commercial loan. You can't get a commercial loan in your name. You might be the personal guarantor, but the loan and the property will be in the name of the company. And you
Absolutely.
and I also know that a lot of those people, those one mom and pop shops that are doing 1-2 deals at a time, they sometimes run out of money and they have to sell that property.
Yeah.
And that's an opportunity for us. So we market to those, and half the deals we buy come from small businesses.
They do. But we would be doing this whether there is a challenging health economic situation that we have at the moment or not. It doesn't matter. The opportunities are always there, always. Now, what about what's happened over the last 3 months in the United States? That's just creating a lot more opportunity. And so that's why we've been kind of putting this together over the last several weeks and planning to roll it out right at the end of the shelter at home situation. So because
let's talk a little bit more about that after the break. Do you need to sell your house? Well, our company will buy your house. We make the process very fast, very easy, and it's all cash. All you have to do is give us a call today.
We'll Buy Your House. Click 833willbuy.com. That's 833-WELLBUY.com.
Or call 833-WILL-BUY.
Se habla español, llámanos, call us today.
We are back, Real Estate 360. Hey, we're talking about the opportunities that are showing up, because of this quote unquote pandemic that we have worldwide, nationwide. And the opportunities are there whether we have a pandemic or not. It doesn't matter. But we just happen to think that there might be more opportunity now than there was 3 months ago. What do you think, Mr. Jason O'Miles?
I think that even 3 months ago there was opportunity, but the opportunities are different now. And going into the next quarter, I mean, we're just finishing up. We're just finishing up the first month in the second quarter, right? So as we come out of this, I mean, we've seen the stock market fall. We saw dips in values in real estate, just really small dips, though. It affected the commercial space a lot more than it affected the single family space. But what we also see is that people have to sell their houses. People that were holding before for these bigger prices, hoping for this larger value, and maybe held it a little too long even then, are now saying, I just have to go ahead and sell this thing. I was having a conversation with a gentleman yesterday who bought a house in a neighborhood that we market in. And when we were buying houses over there a year and a half ago, we were picking them up for $40,000 and $50,000. They're paying like $90,000 for them now in the exact same condition, by the way, Steve. Deplorable.
Right. And you know what? They're going to be probably $40,000 or $50,000 in the next couple of months.
Well, he was trying to get 120. The guy wanted 120.
Wow.
And he had bought it at 120, and he was holding out to try to sell it at 100. He wanted more, but as the market, started to dry up before Corona, BC, that would be
BC before before Corona.
Exactly.
B19.
Exactly. BC 19. He wanted. Now he was just trying to get 120, but what he paid for it. But he had to get it off his books because he saw the values, especially from the wholesale side, because we're going to see values on the wholesale side come down before we see them come down on the retail side.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So he wound up having to sell it for $90,000 just to get it off. Otherwise, he was going to lose it.
Yeah.
He lost anyway, right? So those are the kind of deals that we're going to see. We're seeing them now. We did a little, I took some of our signs, by the way, yesterday, because I had some at the property we're selling. So I took some of those and I stuck them over there. This is over there by, let's just say it's in the area that we did very well in, right?
Yeah, right.
So I took some of the signs, there was like 5 signs, and put them out there. I got a telephone call already in one day. Look, we've got a house we're trying to sell over there. We want $100,000 for it. We were asking 110. I'm going to go and check it out this afternoon, but we'll probably get it for 90, 80. That's where, and the values over there, as you already know, are high 3s.
Absolutely. I'm really excited about the opportunities that are in front of us. And I know a lot of people are probably sitting back thinking, what are we going to do? And certainly I've been asking that same question a little bit as well. But, the answers come pretty quick because we know what to do, which is, hey, we're going to put this marketing machine together and take advantage of the situation in the marketplace and buy and sell some houses. Mm-hmm. And there's massive opportunities beyond that. But, the real estate wholesaling business, I look around at what else is available out there. Where else can you take $1,000 or $500 or two or three, or let's say 5,000 total, and put some earnest money down, do some marketing, put some earnest money down, control a $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 asset, and then wholesale that off and make to $5, $10, $20,000. Where else can you do that?
No,
You can't do that with a
exactly.
car.
No.
You can't do that with inventories. You can't do that with a business, really.
No.
I don't know of anywhere else. I don't know of anything that's better than this. I know a lot of people that buy and sell cars, but they're paying cash for these cars. They're paying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $20,000, $30,000, and they're paying cash. And I know one guy in particular who's kind of specializes in the nicer BMWs and Maseratis and stuff like that. So he's laying out $30,000 to $60,000 to make 5 or 10. We're laying out 5,000 to make 5 or 10. What's the difference in the ROI? Huge.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yes.
And that's literally what we're talking about here. I mean, we're talking about this message is for all wholesalers. This message is for all fix and flippers. This message is for buy and hold people. You want to find these deals, right? So that you can maximize your profit. What better way to maximize your profit than being the first person in, the first person to the door, avoiding the daisy chain that so often now comes with the wholesale opportunities.
Exactly. You're going to end up saving a lot of money. Now, a lot of people will say, well, this is another expense. Absolutely not.
No, I beg to differ. Yes.
Well,
yes, it is an expense.
It's not an expense. It's an investment.
Absolutely.
It's an investment in
that you can mark off on your taxes as an expense.
Exactly. I'm into a lot of the vibrational side of the
Absolutely.
And one of the messages that keeps coming across is, do not spend anything. Don't spend your thoughts. Don't spend your money. Don't spend your time. Invest it. Invest your money, invest your thoughts, invest your time. And the difference is with spending, you don't really have an expectation of a return.
Yeah.
Investing, there's that expectation of a return in everything that you do. Hey, and I've been guilty of spending stuff. People call me and say, hey, Steve, I need $150. I said, and maybe in the past I would have said, here's $150. I don't do that anymore. I'm thinking, okay, now is this a black hole? That the 150 is gone, or am I investing this 150? And if the answer is I'm investing it, okay, then I'll do it. But if I'm not, I'm not going to do it.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
From that perspective. I mean, it is what it is. You're right. You're not spending time. You're investing time. And even in your personal relationships, you're not going to go hang out with people you don't want. You feel like there's a weight just pulling on you when you're around in situations like that. You're going to invest into the things and people that you get something from, for the most part.
So everything that we put out, we're not ever asking anybody to spend their money, ever.
Yeah.
We say, hey, if this is an investment in you and your business, and take it for what it is. If you like it, great. If you don't, great.
That's right. That's right. And I don't want people, as we're talking about this, I don't want people to think that, hey, listen, I'm going to go ahead and do this, but I expect to get, 30 or 50 leads a month. I don't want you to do that. Don't think like that. Because if the reality is, if you got one deal out of it and it made you 10 grand, if you're going to run your own marketing campaign, like you were talking about earlier, Steve, you're going to still invest, anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000 into your own marketing campaign, right? You're going to still have to answer the phone on all those calls, vet all those people. What if you're the investor that also has a job? Are you going to have time to answer the phone when it rings 200 times this week?
Absolutely not.
Right. And are you going to be able to set your appointments? Because if you don't answer the phone, you lose deals. It's as simple as that.
Critical. You've got to answer the phone. And, you're not even taking into consideration. I know you are in your own mind, but to say it is, set all these systems up, to develop the commercial, to develop the relationships, to know who the best people are on the planet to answer those phones and ask those questions and how they handle it. That's critical stuff. That's
Yeah.
make or break a deal.
Yeah.
And then also to have the systems in place so that if people want to go and submit their information about their house for sale online, hey, we already have all that. It's all done. It's
Yeah.
just plug it in, plug and play. Let's go.
Plug and play. And
How
that's
long
what we're
will it
offering.
take an individual person to go set up all that stuff? At least, at the very least, if they work on it full time, a month, 2
Yeah,
months.
I mean, it's going to take a month just to set up your direct mail campaign.
That's right.
I mean, at least 3 weeks for sure.
Because
You
then
know,
you go on all the marketing stuff, you have to write the scripts, you have to pull in your talent, you have to do the videos, you have to do, you have to build your websites, you have to build the back end capture features of those websites, and then the email redistribution. You have to have your admin in place, you have to have your virtual assistants in place. It's on and going. Hey, you know what? This is a business. It's a
yeah,
real business, and it's not a hobby. You have to think
right.
of all the angles.
And for the pardon me, and for the person that's out there saying, you know what, I'm just going to do my own mailers and answer the phone myself. I don't have anything to do. I don't have a day job. That's fine. More power to you. I obviously we're those guys as well, right? We're those people as well. But we're not talking to the person that wants to develop their own systems. We're talking to the person that says, I don't have time to develop my own system. I just want to do deals.
Right.
That's
And
what we're talking.
and you're talking about the investors, and that's who we're talking to as well.
Yeah.
But I know we're coming up on a break here in a few seconds. But I want us to talk about what about the realtors that are involved. Is there an opportunity in what we're doing for realtors to be involved in it? Because, we know that, 70, 80, 90, 95% of the leads that we get are not going to be what we would classify as investor leads. And we want to be able to do the right thing by the people that call in. So what do? And we'll find out about that after the break.
Hi, this is Sammy with Sammy Hadid Real Estate Keller Williams. Are you looking for a top producing agent who will look out for your best interests? Top dollar on the sale of your home, a well-negotiated contract, an efficient closing? Please call me at 305-978-4249. I'm more than happy to set up a consultation. I'll put together a proposal for you to net top dollar for your home, what it is that I'm doing to get all my homes sold. Then you can decide what's best for you. Again, I'll do whatever it takes to get your home sold for top dollar, and I promise you that I will protect your equity with my life. 305-978-4249. Sammy Hadid, Hadid.
It is the Real Estate 360 show. Steve Conley, #unemployable, and
Jason Myles, #the real estate trader, #add a zero.
At a zero. So before that break, we kind of alluded to what's in it, possibly, what's in this marketing program for realtors. And hey, 80, 90, 95% of these leads that we get are what we would classify as non-investor type of leads, because we're looking for certain margins, and recognizing what is a great opportunity and what's not is about 80% of the challenge out there. The big question that a lot of folks have for us, which we talked about earlier in this particular show, is where do we find these great opportunities?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we answered part of that question in that we find them by marketing for them. Now, you can find them buying them from wholesalers and spending a lot of extra money that's added on. And hey, we're wholesalers, we add on, we know what we add on, and we are not in any way, shape, or form ashamed of doing that. That is a business in itself. But we're now saying, hey, here's an opportunity for you to skip that and just go direct.
Yep.
Now, finding them is one thing. Recognizing them is a completely another thing. And when I hear people say, where do you find these deals? I don't hear them saying, how do you find them? I hear them saying, I don't really know how to recognize these when I see them. And I've mentioned that a few times. So we'll be able to assist with that a little bit, but mostly we're looking for people who already know what the formulas are, how to look at them, and really kind of step back and see the big picture and understand putting all these little pieces together and saying, oh, this is a great deal.
That's right. Because the reality of it is, like you said earlier, there are going to be a lot of different types of opportunities that present themselves through the campaigns all the time. You've got, of course, you want the ugly house, right? You want that. So you have the ugly house technique, you have the pretty house technique, and then you have to decide using, the carve examples of what that deal is. Where does it fall in place? Carve just means the conservative after repair value based on what it is today. Is this property underwater? Did a person that has a house with a listing that had expired, didn't sell, listing expired? Well, why didn't it sell? Is it priced wrong? Is it a down economy? What's going on with it? There are so many different things that present themselves when you're looking at this, and it doesn't mean that you can't make any money. If there's money to be made, a portion of it should come to you, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what you're saying is a lot of folks that are out there that are trying to sell their house may not fit our model as an investment type of house.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't really want to lowball those guys. We don't want to try to, wrangle their property from them. That's not our job. We're here to
Operate with integrity. We're here to operate with integrity.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I tell you the story. I've told you the story before, and I may have said it to our audience, our listeners before, but I was doing a wholesale campaign, and it happens all the time, but this one time in particular, I was doing, we were going through a marketing process, and I went to see this house because I was very interested in where this house was, in the area that it was in. So I go and I'm looking at the house. Yeah, it was a little dated, but not much. Great condition, beautiful lot. The guy kept it up. It was immaculate. And he was like, look, I just want to know what you'll give me for it. I'm wanting to sell. I got your flyer or your ad. And what do you offer me? And I told him honestly, I said, look, man, what I'm going to offer you is going to be a lot lower than what you can actually get for this. So let me connect you with someone who can get you the most that you can possibly get in the market today. And then I connected him with Sammy.
Sure.
And then for that, when Sammy closed on it, I earned a percentage of his commission.
Right. That makes perfect sense. And honestly, I've had a lot of folks call me up and say, give me your best cash offer, and same kind of situation. And I'll just say, listen, this was before Sammy came along, of course. But Sammy's very aggressive. He's a realtor that's a full-time guy.
Yeah.
He knows what he does. He knows what he knows. He prices the property correctly. He does his research. He says, hey, do you want to sell this or not?
Yeah.
And he did this with me. And I said, look, I want a lot of money. And he says, listen, do you want to sell this house or not? I'll tell you what it's going to sell for. I said, I don't want to hear it. But, bottom line, at the end of the day, it sold for what he said it would sell for. I said, damn it. But so back to the story here. And so I've had folks call me and say, what's your best offer? Same story as yours. And I would say, look, you don't really have a problem for me to solve. You're not financially strapped. You're not, you didn't inherit this. This is your house. You've had it for a long time. It's in good shape. Find the realtor in your area that seems to be very active. Call them and list it with them.
Mm-hmm.
You got time. Time is really kind of a lot of times the big factor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So people are under the gun, if you will, and they're being foreclosed on and so forth. Now, that's the one thing that is a really unique situation in this thing that we're in right now, because the court systems have been closed down and because people can't foreclose or evict or anything else. Although that's about to change.
Well, there's the filings are continuing. You know,
Yeah,
people are filing for them. It's just going to be backlogged once
that's
the
right.
courts do open.
That's right. And don't be fooled that people are not going to get foreclosed on because or evicted, because they will. You know,
Hmm.
the only moratorium on that, the real moratorium, is for, you know, public assisted housing.
Right.
And I think that's only in certain areas, but don't quote me. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But so the opportunities are coming. They're just slightly delayed. People that are more proactive in the marketplace right now are the ones that are going to be showing up first and
Hmm.
taking care of those issues right away. And we want to be there to be the answer for that. That's all that is.
I mean, and that's just what it is. Because we're going to see, as we come out of this, we're going to see a new economy, a
Yes.
new way of doing business. You know, we're going to see a lot of things not opening back up, you know, not because they can't open back up, but because it's not prudent, financially prudent for them to open up. You know, when is the next time you're going to go to a nightclub or a busy sports bar? You know,
I don't know.
now, there are people that are like, of course, there's a segment of our society that's going to, you know, throw caution to the wind, and they're going to be out there partying, right? But a much larger, the actual money spenders and money makers are going to proceed with caution. They're going to do a lot less outside of the house in terms of recreation. And, you know, I say that to say there are a lot of, as the economy changes, things are going to move online a lot more. We're going to see delivery companies doing well. People are still going to buy houses, but as we go through this curve,
Mm-hmm.
people are going to lose houses. As we go through this curve, banks are going to have to find ways to sell these houses. But you know what we're seeing on the retail side, people are still listing houses. People are still buying houses. We've just seen a dip, a slight dip, very slight, maybe 10, 12% dip in value, you know? So, and that's not everywhere. That's only in some places, mostly in places that were changing, you know?
I have some conversations with some guys that are kind of high level, and they are saying, you know, we're probably looking only at about a 15 to 20% across the board reduction in real estate values.
Absolutely.
That's not as much as 2008.
Mm-mm.
And to me, this is a very unique situation that we're in. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
I've seen some things similar. You've seen some things similar,
Yeah.
but we're all in uncharted waters.
It is definitely. I mean, of course, you know, there's all the comparisons to 1917, 18. None of us were here for that. And
Nope.
even at that time, the economy was totally different. The population was totally different. Where people were living, you know, it's totally different. You cannot compare. You can't possibly compare the two. And and I say all that to say you're right. This is completely uncharted. You know, we're just out here floating in the big ocean trying to figure out where to go.
Well, we know where to go. We're going to market for houses and other opportunities.
Hell of a segue.
Hey, we know exactly what we're doing. And are we always successful? No, we're not. I mean, you know, let's get real. But this is planet Earth. It's, you know, there are stumps out there to stump your toe on. But our success rate is super high. And on that note, if you have some questions about what we're doing with this marketing plan, this co-op marketing plan, go to our website. Our phone numbers are right there. Our contact information is right there. If you call the number that's on the website, you're going to get either me or Myles. You know, one of us is going to answer the phone, you know, unless, you know, we're in the shower or something. But we do answer the phone because we understand that. We talk about that on the show here. Answering the phone is critical to being in business.
Right. So you guys make sure that if you have questions, follow us. Go to the website, like you said, listen to us. I want to thank you guys for taking the opportunity to listen to us today. and we will see you and hear you next week.
Peace.
Peace.